Welcome to this episode of Prairie People's Poetry, a spotlight series highlighting Saskatchewan spoken word artists through performances and conversation on the craft and community of the art form. I'm your host, Cat Abenstein, and today we're talking with spoken word poet and artist, Tai Reign.
Hi, I'm Ty Raine. I am a spoken word artist from Peepeekisis First Nations. Most of my poetry kind of centers around Indigenous issues, whether that be mental health, racism, oppression, just kind of things that I see from my lens in my daily life.
So, Ty, how long have you been writing?
I've been writing as long as I could remember, to be honest, but I found poetry, I would say, in middle school through an English assignment, and then ever since then I've kind of just been, this is my jam.
Do you remember what that assignment was?
I don't, but I believe it was probably something to do with the seasons changing, just something simple, yeah. When life gives you lemons, you eat them rinds and all. You choke down the seeds because you don't want to fall behind. You stumble through a fog down a path that is unknown, going forward blindly until they call me home. A figure in the distance of what can be, euphoric lights barely peek through the clouds surrounding me. Streams of wondrous beams leave streaks of beauty and clarity, grasping for nothing, but finding everything within a moment. You know, the darkness will shed, and we shall head to calmer waters, glistening beneath the clouds. But until then, we shall wade in the foggy shore, praying from a distance for hope and light forevermore. It is as simple to die as it is to be born. While we mourn our loved ones who called back home too soon, I keep biting my cheek and cursing at the moon, wondering to him, how could life be so cruel? The fog and the brush in your path is supposed to make you stronger for the aftermath. But for the souls who could not bear it alone, the ones who thought it would be easier to go home, so lost in the dark, with no light they can see. Our hands are reaching out, but we're scared to hold on. Our past ones are letting us know it's okay to keep on. The rain will not last, and the sun will be warm. But the pain is still here, and life will be hard. But we're praying together and far apart.
So when you write your poetry with some of the topics that you discuss, what is the message that you're trying to get across?
The message that I want to get across, it's not much of a message, more of a perspective. Because the perspective of Indigenous youth is very forgotten within our society. And I know that my situations and the things that I've experienced are not unique, and that every single Indigenous youth in Canada has experienced something similar to me, whether that be through addictions, suicide, mental health, just stuff like that, yeah.
What are some opportunities you've encountered or been given where you've been able to use your voice to share your perspective?
Most of the opportunities that I've received where I share my voice and I feel proud of it has always been not in the artist space, but in the activism space. I have spoken at rallies in Regina for Colton Boushie, Tina Fontaine, and for the most recent one, the Black Lives Matter I've spoken at those ones, and those are the places that I've really felt where people understand where I'm coming from and want to go farther with it.
Do you have any goals or like places that you'd like to speak or to be, or movements that you'd like to be part of?
The places that I would like to speak are places that are predominantly white. That's where I feel most powerful, is when I speak to people who can actually make a change, which would be the politicians and the chief of police and stuff like that. But yeah, that's where I would like to eventually find myself breaking into, as I would like to break into those white spaces and then get my word out there. I will not rest easy until the thoughts that consume my spirit are out in the world for you to hear it. Until you see the paleness that taints my skin, the whiteness you called greatness. You tell us to be shameless, but not for who we are, for what you want us to be. So you beat us down and asked us to praise you. You see our brown skin, we're nothing but slaves to you. I'm watching my people go missing. I'm watching my people get murdered. We're screaming for help. Are you listening? My sisters are crying, but you misheard her. Brothers are fighting for freedom, government giving half-assed solutions, youth armed with nooses and razors, fighting the image you gave us. Dirty, no-good, drunk Indian. I am 6 times more likely to kill myself, but that's no big deal. I'm just a dirty, no-good, drunk Indian. I'm stuck in a system that was built to kill us. You took our land, then build us. You got residential neighborhoods, well, we got residential schools. You took our children away and you changed the rules. You beat out our language but got to keep yours. You made our children do your chores? Knees to the floor, eyes down, tongue out. Punished for speaking, young hearts beating, so yeah, I'm angry. But you're not receiving my message. Hear me out, catch this. We're still here through all this shit, all caused by the government. It's time to reconcile and educate, spread the love, beware of hate, appreciate, don't appropriate. Get up, stand up, idle no more. 7th generation, if you're so unsure, it's never too late to negate the hate. It's our turn now. Let's see that the future goes well, so our children don't have to go through this hell. Hi, hi.
So, of the work you've written, do you have any particular piece you'd like to present in those spaces?
My most performed piece is No Good, and that is one that I wrote in 2016, 2017, and I feel like as time goes on, sadly, that poem just gets more and more relevant regarding the racism in Canada and the solutions that are being given by our government, while completely disregarding the opinions and the beliefs of the people who actually need that help. So I feel like that is a piece that I am most proud of, because it not only rings true, but a lot of the things that I say in that piece, a lot of our people can really relate to.
So what does your writing process look like when you're creating work, or specifically about No Good?
Most of my poetry starts off from a place of anger, from a place of frustration, and it usually stems from seeing things in the news. And then it gets to a point where I just need to just get this stuff off of my spirit, because if I don't, then it will just weigh me down for the rest of my life. And once I finally am able to get that, the frustration and the anger out onto paper, that's when I can finally start to kind of mold it into more of an artistic piece where people can look at rather than just a rant. Yeah.
So does your work come out of you all at once, or do you have to sort of carve your way to the final piece?
It really depends. Sometimes it comes out all at once, but that is very mentally and emotionally taxing on me. And I find that I have to take lots of like brain breaks and just take a step back and actually feel happy again. Because when you're speaking about these topics, it just weighs you down. So I do definitely have to take brain breaks, but there are some times when I just need to get it out. So it really depends, but I do like to prefer to take it slowly and kind of work my way to the finished product. I wish you could feel like your love was worth it. I wish you could feel like you did not need anything to be loved without obligation, to be loved without doubt, to be loved without pain. I wish you could feel like your love was worth it. Like your love is the sweetest taste on earth. I cannot get enough. Your touch is absolutely euphoric. Candy-coated kisses linger on the tips of each finger, painting traces of the pretty places you yearn to discover. I wish you could feel how warm your love is, wrapping me with a tender caress of unconditional, the person you grow to be, the person you are, unconditionally strong, beautiful, and kind. You spend each morning picking the stars, praying that the one who needs it will find it. I wish you could feel how your love engulfs. Deep caverns long forgotten, rushed with affection, comfort, and understanding. A slow trickle into a deep river of self-doubt and heartache. Loving waters ebb and flow against the tough tide, running over jagged edges, soft and smooth, outside and in. I wish you could feel like your love was worth it, like you did not need anything to be loved without obligation, to be loved without doubt, to be loved without pain. I pray you realize you're worth it. I pray you realize you do not need anything to be loved with compassion, to be loved with understanding, to be loved with respect. I pray you understand.
So on that note, recognizing that art can sometimes drain us or deplete us, what does self-care look like for you when you're creating work?
That is something that I'm learning right now. I've been trying to learn more about self-care. To be honest, within these past few months, I haven't been writing as much as I would like to, but when I do get to write, I find lately it's come from a place of trying to accept the cards that you were dealt. More of like a therapeutic thing, poetry has been for me. And I'm still working on the self-care part about all that, because I do find it hard sometimes to get my brain out of that state of mind of just looking at all the injustices throughout the world and like really internalizing it. That's something that I have to stop doing, is internalizing all this pain.
So how do you think community can help support you in this work, in finding self-care?
I think it could help a lot. As an Indigenous person, community is a very important part of who we are as a people. When you're not in your homeland or around your people, you can really feel it taxing on your soul. So when you can finally go back into your home and be surrounded by people who love you and understand you, that is something that we need to do more of, but unfortunately right now we can't. So it's kind of really about finding a balance of of, yeah, I don't know, but as a two-spirited, non-binary Indigenous youth, I would like to get more into my culture, but I find myself to be alienated sometimes simply because of the path that I'm on and stuff, really because a lot of the protocol has a lot to do with male and female. So I don't really know where I fit in there, as well as just personal things that I'm going through. And it's kind of learning to understand that I can reach out if I wanted to learn more about protocol. If I wanted to learn more about my culture, I could reach out. It's just trying to open myself up first inside for the Creator to come down and heal me. But until then, I feel kind of on a limbo. You only have the right to protect yourself if you're white. When the cameras are on, you claim water is life. You paint pretty lies and speak of sacrifice, a necessary loss for a prosperous future. But for who? You're lining your pockets, only your friends profit. Mother Earth is burning and you have the power to help stop it. But you send guns and bombs to arrest our brothers and sisters, trying to suppress our land protectors. How many times will you choose this path? Going forward blindly, no care for the aftermath. And when the spill happens, you claim, oh, that's so sad. You dry your fake tears with our money, but behind the curtains, you're glad. White lies line your teeth. I hope you see the truth while we can still breathe. We need to build a better world so our children can succeed, with fresh air, clean water, and clear skies that they can see. I know you're never going to truly listen. How can one change while thriving in this system? Everything's instant, no thought for the next. Selfish and destructive creatures. No one can change the past, but it's the future in our choices, the use of our positive voices, and from our actions in the fight for a healthy future, maybe one day we can rejoice.
I was listening to a piece earlier today by Prince EA, and something really struck me with what he said. And it was, you don't choose dreams, dreams choose you. So I was curious if any dreams have chosen you.
Not in particular like a career stance, but I've always known that I wanted to be a speaker. Whether that is like politician, leader, or journalist or something, I just know that I have a voice that has a perspective that's not very much seen enough these days. And I just know that I wanted to... Okay, the thing is, as a brown child in this day and age, the only people that you see looking like yourself on TV is either a cartoon character, or they're on the news for something. They're angry or just whatever. So I would like to be a face on TV that's positive, because the only faces that you see on TV nowadays are Adam Beach and Buffy St. Marie. And those are the only two people that we see around. So I would like to kind of break into that realm, and not only just make it more normal to be brown on screen, whether that be just through interviews and whatever. I would just like to see another brown person on TV regularly.
How do you think the internet is changing this? whether that be spoken word or just a representation in showing people, like brown people on TV?
I think it's really great because we really carved a spot out for ourselves on the internet, because like there isn't really a space for us unless it's on APTN. And on the internet, we found that not only can we talk about our hardships, but we can just laugh. Because that's one thing that Indigenous people really like care a lot about, not necessarily on purpose, but if you can't laugh, then how can you heal? So if you we got this space on the internet where we can just either like make videos or memes or whatever that are by Native people for Native people, and it's not negative. That's the thing. Is the only, like I said, the only time you see a face like us on TV is when we're doing crimes or we're angry. So the fact that we can have a spot in mainstream media, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, there's just positive Native representation, whether it's like stupid memes or artists sharing their artwork or makeup artists. It's just us being able to finally put something positive about our people out into the world. Because until now, all we've ever heard about Native people, if we hear anything about Native people, is about the genocide, residential schools, and missing and murdered Indigenous women. And we are a strong, resilient people, and we're funny. We're so funny. Like, I'm not gonna lie, we're so funny. So if you just give us the space to just laugh, then we'll show you, yeah.
Do you have any current projects that you're working on?
No, my current project is my mental health. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been trying to focus on a lot within these past few months, is just trying to figure out where I am, what I need, and where I need to go. My pain was built in the silence that comes 2 for 1 with shame. It was built with every good intention meant to shift the blame. It came with sweet whispers from my demons that were gifted, calling me back to the comforting blanket of isolation. I lay licking my wounds and kissing my scars, waiting for her to slowly welcome me back into my roots. Loneliness lies within me like a small blue flame almost touching the wax. Dripping, fading, nothing. I've grown attached to this constant ache. Without it, it feels as though I'm nothing. My sorrow is always happy to see me, like an old friend with arms open. No longer pushing to get away, I accept their cold embrace against the hellfire within. An ember sword plunged into frigid waters, knowing nothing but anger and frustration. Gentle melancholy waves washing over rough stones, guiding me through the quiet shores of self-pity and doubt. Picking up any shell I see, leaving behind a token to remember me. An unfinished puzzle of a human. Using scraps of you to complete, I am selfish and destructive, and I crumble beneath reality. Living daydreams only to surface when thunderstorms of nostalgic anguish rain down. Hiding behind my suffering, an angry mask used to disguise the self-loathing mess called me. Silently screaming for help, waving you down, hoping you don't notice the reality.
Has the pandemic affected the way that you think about your work?
Kind of. As in, I've kind of stopped focusing on my work altogether and more just kind of on survival mode, as I feel like we've all been. But within these past, let's say like couple months, I'm trying to start focusing on my work. But again, it's hard because as an artist, you want to share what you have, and it's really hard to share what you have and get opinions and like workshop what you have when you can't physically go anywhere. Like, yeah, so.
Yeah, I think it's like a common sort of thing where capitalism, right, it makes us think that we have to be constantly producing and creating work, though we're still artists, even if we're not writing, especially if we're taking care of ourselves to do that. Do you have anything else that you'd like to say, maybe a message for other people who might be experiencing the same thing that you're going through?
I would just love to see more youth expressing themselves through artwork. I know that, not personally, I have never lived on the reserve, but I know that the reserve has very little opportunities for you to artistically grow, let alone just be. So I would like to see more youth getting interested in expressing themselves through art, because I know that a lot of the pain that you have, it feels like it's only you, and you internalize that. But once you can get that out into the world onto a piece of paper, you can see for yourself that it's not only just you, that more people than you know can actually relate to you, and it's just good to get that stuff off of your chest. I would love, love, love to see more art programming on reserve, or just even in North Central, there's not enough art programming for Indigenous youth, I find, whether that be spoken word, visual art, just anything. Just as long as you can get what's on your soul onto a piece of paper, as long as it's there and off your mind, then that's already a good step towards reconciling yourself and your soul. Because everything out there will be telling you no. Everything out there will be telling you that you're not good enough, because that's sadly just the world that we live in today as an Indigenous youth. But you just gotta create this space for yourself. Sadly, you have to create it for yourself. But know that you're not alone. There are people who understand you and want to be there for you, and that suicide isn't the answer ever. So go hug your cookum, go hug your mushum, and remember to take everything one day at a time, because shit's hard, and it's gonna be hard, but it gets easier when you have your loved ones there.
This has been Prairie People's Poetry, with me, Cat Abenstein, as your host. Thanks to Ty Raine for their work, and thanks to you for tuning in. Make sure to like, share, and check out the other videos in our series, and be sure to let us know what you think. Thanks for supporting Prairie Poetry.